Okay, so just like yesterday, we're going to be able to solve, but now we're going to be able to graph multi-step inequalities. All right, and that is going to be proven by scoring a 70% or higher on your exit team. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So I showed you yesterday the longhand way and then the Desmos way of doing this. So I want to start off the first one with doing the longhand way. All right, so my first step, and this is going to seem kind of ridiculous. Well, no, my first step is going to be to combine like terms on my right-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and combine my 4 and my positive 2x. That's going to give me 50 greater than -4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Don't forget the x. All right, my next step, you guys are probably going to be like, what's the point? All right, here's the point. I want to bring my x to the left-hand side. Why? Look at all of my answers have an x on the left-hand side. Trust me, it's just going to make it easier in the long run, a little bit less thinking. All right, so how do I undo addition? I'm going to subtract. So I'm just going to subtract 6x from both sides. And to make it kind of just a little bit easier, I'm not going to put it right underneath that 50 because I know that these guys aren't on the same team. And this will cancel out. And what I will have here is just a -6x plus 50. Don't forget about your inequality sign, greater than -4. All right, now we're at a place that's much more, it's something we've seen before. All right, so I want to get this 6x by itself. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So these cancel. I'll just be left with -6x greater than -54. Sorry about that. And then again, I want to get this x all by itself. So the opposite of a multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by -6. So I'm going to get x, and -54 divided by 6 is 9. And here's the big kicker. Look at this inequality sign. Look, I'll highlight it. I divided by a negative. And if we divide or multiply by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So your correct answer is A. All right, now if I wanted to show you a little trick in Desmos, right, we can unlock this and move it. All right, so first I'm going to put my left-hand side. Remember, always click that fraction button if you have a bunch of stuff in the numerator or denominator. Then I'm going to put my right-hand side, which is -12, and I'm going to hit x equals. And I'm just going to try out what my answers say. So it looks like I'm testing out 22 and 14. So I try 22, I get -17.33 and -12. So 22 is not looking too hot. But when I try 14, look, I get 12 from both sides of my inequality. -12, I should say. So A is out, B is out. So I'm just going to look at C. All right, so let me go ahead and plug in a big number, 100. Let's just plug in 100. And you'll see that from my left-hand side, I get -69.3 repeating. And from my right-hand side, it just stays -12. Let's see, is this correct with our sign? Is -12 greater than -69? It is, right? If I have a number line and I have 0 here, -12, -69.3 is down here. And you know, the further to the right on the number line, the greater it is. So this is a true statement. So what that's telling us is, what did we put in? We put in 100. So what that's telling us is that every value of x is going to be greater than 14. Greater than 14. Right? Because we picked 100. So if we were on the number line, right, we have 0, we have 14, we picked 100. We could have picked -100, but it wouldn't have been true. Well, we know 14 is a number of interest. And because 100 works, that means that all of our answers are going to be to the right of 14. All right, so let's talk about this guy. Let me show you again. Oops, I shouldn't move those. Longhand way would be to distribute this 2 to our 4, then to our -2, which would give us a positive 8x minus 4, and then bring over what we didn't use. And all we want to do is get our x by itself. So opposite of -4 is +4. So we'll have 8x greater than or equal to 8. Divide by 8 on both sides. And look, we divided by a positive, so we don't change the sign. And what we're going to say is that x is greater than 1. So I need to come down and look at my points. Well, look, this is at 2, so A is gone. Again at 2, B is gone. C is at 1, so we got to think, and D is at 1. Well, what do we have? We had x is greater than or equal to 1. So we want to look at all the numbers that are bigger than 1 and or equal to it. All right, so C is going to be our answer. Note, this dot right here is colored in. That's why, because it's greater than or equal to. And my favorite thing is just how this works out. If I draw a line into the middle of my arrow or my inequality, it creates an arrow pointing this direction. But that only works if you have x on the left-hand side. All right, similarly, if we wanted to try this in Desmos, move this. This. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my left-hand side of my inequality. 2. My right-hand side, hit that x equals. All right, so what do I have for options? I have 2, -4, -4, and 0. Right, because I'm just looking here. I have this -4, -4, where my circle or my dots above 0, and 2. So I want to try these out. So let's try 2. I get -7 and 11. So A is gone. All right, let's try -4. And I get 11 and 11. So these -4s are going to be good. Then we try 0, I get -1 and 11. So D's out as well. All right, and that's not even really thinking. So we know something's going on at -4, but what? What is going on at -4? Let's type in a big number. Let's try -100 this time. All right, so let's come back up to our inequality and see what we got. I typed in -100 for my x. And I got, for this side, 299. That's less than 11. Is this true? It is not. So let's try another number. Let's just try a positive 100. And you'll see that I get -301 is less than 11. And that is true. So what that's telling me, because I picked 100, that all of my values for x, right? Look, I picked a positive 100 right here, that all of my values for x are going to be greater than, just greater than -4. All right, so my correct answer would be B. And if we were to write this out, we would have x is greater than -4. And if you were to solve this, I'll do it real quick. Oh, that's ugly. Wait, sorry. Had a senior moment, I guess. Minus 2 would be 26 divided by 20. What am I doing? Well, now I feel like I really have to work this one out. All right, so we would distribute. So we would have a -3x minus 1 less than 12, 11, add the 1. There it is. Okay. I don't know what I was doing, but nothing wrong with going back old school. And you get x is -4. Remember to flip this sign because we divided by a negative. All right, so that works. B is our answer. All right, select all the solutions that would satisfy this inequality. So here's another trick that we can do for this. Let's go ahead and just look. Let's type in a negative 45 for our left-hand side, type in a negative 4x minus a 6x minus a 5, and then x equals. And let's just test all of our values. I get a negative 2. So what this negative 2 tells me is that I have, looks like negative 45 is less than 15. So is negative 2 a good answer? Yes, it is. All right, let's try 4. This is what I'm looking at. I have this negative 45 that I just input, that's the left-hand side, and then the right-hand side gives me a negative 45. Well, negative 45 and negative 45 are equal, and neither is bigger than the other one. So this is not true. This is not true. All right, and I'll do 9. You'll see that I get negative 45. It's less than negative 95, which is not true. If I try 0, 0 looks good. I get negative 45. It's less than or equal to, or less than negative 5, which is true. Then you could try 8. I can tell you that 8's not going to work because 4 didn't work and 9 didn't work. 8's between 4 and 9. But if you want to give it a try, by all means. All right, another solving this inequality. So I'll do this one again. We're going to distribute. So I get a negative 10 minus 2y is greater than 20. I want to get rid of this 10, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. When I do that, I'll get negative 2y is greater than or equal, or greater than, 30. And then when I divide by a negative 2y, I'm simply going to get y, negative 15. Don't forget we divided by a negative number, so we have to flip this side. So my answer is just B. All right, same type of problem, but I will show you how to do it. Oh, I don't have to unlock this one. How to do it in Desmos. Looks like I'm testing out 12 and negative 12. All right, so I'm testing out my answer choices. So I have x divided by 4 minus 13. Then my left-hand side is just negative 10. I'm going to type in x equals. And when I type in negative 12, you'll see that I get negative 16, negative 10. Those do not match up. And when I type in a positive 12, you'll see that I get negative 10 and negative 10. So my left and my right-hand side do match. So A and B are already out. So all I really have to think about is which one of these, C or D, is correct. Again, we're just going to throw in one big old nasty number. So let's just try negative 100 because it hasn't worked for us yet. And you'll see that I get negative 38. It's less than or equal to negative 10. Right, and again, I'm looking right here. My left-hand side is negative 38 because that's what this equals. And my right-hand side just says negative 10. Is this a true statement? It is. And I picked negative 100. So that means that every choice that I pick is going to be less than or equal to negative 12. It's going to be less than or equal to negative 12. So if I put this on a number line, or positive 12, sorry, and I have 12 here, if I tried a negative 100 and this worked, then that means all of my numbers from 12 to the left, smaller than 12, are all going to be possible solutions. Oh, I didn't even see where it said create a graph. Oh, it didn't. Maybe one of the other ones did and I missed it. All right, create a graph on a number line that would simplify, that would satisfy the inequality. Let's go ahead and solve this guy first. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put in my left and right side. So I have 6y minus 5 minus 2y. And then I think just at 11. Is that what it was? Just 11, exactly. And I'm testing 4 and 4.5. So y equals 4. All right, 4. I get 11 and 11, which is good. Let's just try 4.5 to check. I get 13 and 11. So we know that we're looking at answers A and B. Something's going on at this 4, but we don't know what yet. All right, so let's just test a big number. All right, so I'm going to try a positive 100. And you'll see that I get 395 for my left-hand side and 11. Is this true? Is 395 less than 11? It is not. So let's go ahead and try a negative 11. And you'll see that we get negative 405 is less than 11. All right. So let's talk about this. Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I have a 0, just like to always put that on my number line. And I know I'm looking over here at 4 somewhere. All right, I'm looking at 4 somewhere. Well, I tested a number for negative 100, and that checked out. Right, and I checked out 100, and that did not check out. So what I'm going to want to do is going to be every number from 4 to the left. Right, and when we see our inequality sign, we notice that it is less than, not less than, or equal to, so we leave an open circle. You do not fill that in. All right, last but not least, let's talk about good test taking strategies right off the bat here. Look at our inequality sign. That is greater than or equal to. So that means that our dots need to be filled in. So A is gone. Not even worried about A. All right. We know we're looking at negative 23 somewhere. So I don't even need to really test that number. But if I'm using Desmos, let me just go ahead and plug in my formula or my inequality. So left-hand side and the right-hand side. And equals. And let's try, what do you want to try? Let's try a positive 100. All right. Oh, what I see here is that I have 14 is greater than, and I believe it was negative 109. And is this true? That is true. So if this number line kept going, eventually we would get to, whoops, draw on this one. If this number line kept going, eventually we get to 100. And we know 100 is true. So that means our arrow needs to go to the right. So D would be our answer. All right, last but not least, these are the ones that I think you guys really shouldn't have any issues with. You just plug it in values. So we're going to go negative 4, just making sure they're true. Negative 3x plus 3, hit enter. Whoops, I forgot my negatives. Minus 6. And then I have negative 114. X equals, let's try negative 8. Well, is negative 114 on the left greater than negative 114? It is not. Let's try negative 3. Is negative 54 greater than 114? It is. All right, let's try 9. Is 90 greater than negative 114? It is. Let's try 1. Is negative 6 greater than negative 114? It is. And I'm going to go ahead and bet and say that negative 11 is not going to work. Notice for negative 11, I get negative 150 is greater than negative 114. And that is not true. So 11 is not a good answer. All right, again, hopefully I saw you guys in class today. If you have any questions, message me. Other than that, have a great weekend.